Hi everyone. Today we are talking with Marv Shamma. He is the founder and CEO of Flow Elementary Schools. He is bringing the vision to bring joy back to education for children, in this case, elementary schools, and of course, helping them to have meaningful development, not only in their academic activities, but also in real life activities and challenges coming afterwards. So, Marv, thanks for coming. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you, Ricardo? Thank you.
I'm good. So close to Christmas time, so I assume you know how crazy can be. But yeah, here we are.
End of year is always a challenge, but yeah, it is. Actually, I'm already half my head, sorry, is in celebrating and having fun with the family. But school is rush. School is tough, so we have to make sure that everything is in place.
Good. So glad you take the time to today.
Thank you.
I think before we go, I can start about flow. I wanted to get to know you more, a bit more personally, and if you can tell us your personal story, how did you arrive to work in education? So if we can take, let's say, a time traveling machine and we see you in 10 years past or even more, like how can you tell us a bit about your story and what you were doing in the past?
Okay, so how long do we have for today? Do you want the long short version or
Yeah,
the short version?
we can take, let's say, a short to medium answer or something around that.
Okay,
Let's
great.
say.
So yeah, basically, and really, thanks again for having me today. And yeah, the main reason behind like why I'm in education, I have nothing to do with education, but I am a father of twin boys. And when I was looking at my kids growing, getting older, and even though they are twins, but they are really different, so you can see and tell like that, okay, if I'm sending them to a school where they will just normalize them into like one somehow like medical or whatsoever we call it now, like personality or skill set. So I was more into like, okay, what if, I love this question like all my life. So why I'm in education is because of my kids. It's been now for 4 or 5 years almost. Personally, throughout my life, I usually used to, when there is a challenge, I jump into solving the challenge by my own or like with some other people. I never complain. I never go with the, let's say, with the wave, how they call it. I'm trying to create my own solutions, and Flow Elementary School is like one of those crazy ideas, like crazy ideas, because it's really tough to run a school, to be honest,
Okay, I thought it was completely easy.
but
Sorry for it.
rewarding.
Yeah, yeah. It's not good because you have summer free in theory for the school. Just as an owner, I don't think you have it free, right?
Actually, it's not bad, to be honest. Yeah, like you can have some free time. Like my last summer was really challenging because we had major issues with many things. We had to find new team, hire new people. I had new investors joining this school as well. So very tough times. But usually, yeah, if you look at it from this perspective, oh my God, like you work only 10 months a year and then you have 2 months, like paid holidays and you can go and do anything you want. Not
Good.
really.
And good. So now you mentioned that you start making this school because of your kids, but also I wanted to know your professional background before starting working in education. Can you tell us a bit and maybe have you translate a lot of this knowledge applied to education based on your experience, and what are your thoughts into this?
Okay, good question. Definitely, like whatever I've gone through my life, like helped me to come to this point where I decided to build this school. And okay, step by step. So I graduated as an AI engineer. So I am like ex AI engineer. Even before AI was sexy, and everyone is crazy about that. So I've done my studies in the Czech Republic in Pilsen. So I did it. I spent lots of like many years working in AI and in tech projects and AI driven projects and so on. Although I've spent many years in the creative industry, so I work for creative agencies, and that was my sweet spot, connecting creativity and technology somehow towards building a business or a product. I created a couple of companies, till today, I've got another startup which is running. It's called Veracity Protocol, which is about just to make sure that whatever subject or whatever something with big value, you can make sure that you can protect it and make sure that nobody's going to copy it or create like something that is whatsoever now we call it. But back to my career or like my experience, it's been always about technology, business, and people, to be honest, so technology, business, people, those 3 points defined my path over the last 10 years. I also spent a couple of years in leadership. So I've got a small company called Flowberry, where we provide, let's say, C-level education and workshops in different topics such as leadership, talent growth, team dynamics, group dynamics, and so on. So that's also something that I'm really interested in. However, one of my life-changing events was my study of digital media and management in Sweden at a school called Hyper Island. I joined Hyper Island in 2012. And through this experience, I had the chance to go to visit some schools, elementary schools, high schools also. And that was in Sweden, Norway, Denmark. We spent with the school the majority of the time in Manchester in the UK. So I started to be curious about education and the way how to educate kids, not only adults through those workshops and leadership topics, but also how to go down to those kids and to make sure that whatever we're doing, it's an, let's say, a holistic approach to towards their growth. Then I became a dad in 2013, and everything just like clicked into itself, and I started from that time 2014, 15 to consider, okay, what if I will jump from AI, from tech into like education, and yeah, and I'm here.
Got it, got it. I think you already have given some sneak peeks about the reasons why you started this school called Flow. So
Mhm.
can you tell us, yeah, what did you see in traditional schools that you hated and now that you are trying to fix with Flow? If that could be a question, of course.
Yeah, like there's look, just to be very transparent, like, or like
Mm-hmm.
very open in this. I'm not fighting the current system, or like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying to change anything. There are so many amazing schools in Prague, in every city, and honestly speaking, it's always goes down to the teacher and to the person who is standing in front of the kids. If that guy or that lady is amazing, the classroom is just like amazing and the kids are happy, and vice versa. So uh, I'm not really against anything about like, or like literally to hate something about our schools these days. But of course, we're in 2025, so many things, like, even is changing just during this conversation, I would say. So one of the major things I wanted to bring in is this. I mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. Is like that holistic approach towards kids' growth. What does that mean? It's not about just like, okay, let's make the kids smart, and like they can remember all those figures and numbers and facts and so on, and we forget about their psychological safety, or their how do their feelings, their emotions. We don't care about their physics, like the movement. We don't care about this and that. So what I wanted to create is like a 360 approach. And it's not, I really don't want to speak about Flow as like educational institution, but rather it's like, how to put that in the right words, like a growth institution, so to let your kid to grow mentally, physically, emotionally, socially. So it's a holistic approach towards their growth, and to create a system that is going to support it. This is so I'm not changing anything. I'm just trying to build on the top of what already exists, but to bring it into 2025 and beyond.
Okay. And how does it look in, let's say, if I go today or in a weekly basis to the school? So how does it look in terms of the day-to-day operations and what the kids are listening or watching and practicing there? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So just not to like to make sure that we're not a crazy school. Like we are a school which is accredited under the Ministry of Education in the Czech Republic. So we have to follow certain frameworks and so on and so on. So that accreditation gives us sort of like the stamp of quality of like being a proper school that is going to bring your kid from A to B to C to D and so on. But also it gives us the freedom to tweak the how to deliver the content. So we are not changing the content, we're just creating some different approach, changing the delivery of that content. So one of the things is that we don't have a 45-minute, like classes. We have 3 blocks per day. Each block takes 90 minutes. So we have 90 minutes blocks, 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And those blocks creates the space for the teacher and for the kids to really explore, to collaborate, also to experiment, and to have enough time to enjoy the content of whatever it is, either mathematics, English language, Czech language, programming, and so on. So it's all about like giving them the space and the time to enjoy themselves during learning. So this is one thing. It's not a big change or like innovation. We are not inventing the wheel. None of what we're doing. We're just like plugging in different stuff
Approaches.
exactly, and put it in one holist or like one system that is supporting our approach.
Okay, and
Yeah, this is one thing I was thinking about, like, so the 90 minutes blocks, for example. Okay, so that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is, and probably you will be asking about that, I know that you're interested in, is our project-based learning experience. So we are not teaching kids because it's mathematics and because it's Czech language and so on and so on, but because there is a context, there is a reason, there is a why. Always start with why, as like Simon Sinek always said. So we always start with this why to tell the kids, okay, guys, so you have this project. It's called, I don't know, XYZ, and there is a challenge and there is a big why behind it, and we need you to go and work on this project. And throughout that project, we deliver math, we deliver all those like subjects, which are important for their cognitive development. So that's another thing. And maybe what's important about flow is also we want to create the new, or like not the new wave of founders. That would be a big statement, and maybe it will, just like make some parents like unsure about us. But we are trying to put the founders' mindset into those kids, so to be more entrepreneur rather than an employee into the future, to be able to critically think about whatsoever, to be able to grab that challenge and create a solution, be able to present that solution, ask for help, cooperate with others, just like a new approach of problem solving and living these days. Because if there's something I really believe in, within all the craziness about AI and machines and whatsoever is going to replace us like as humans, is we need to create a new mindset of the future. And the new mindset of the future is going to be more about entrepreneurs and more about like this entrepreneurial approach to life. So you approach life in this creative, critical thinking way, and this is what I'm really interested in. So any kid from Flow, whenever you stop them, tell them this is a problem or this is a challenge, I need you to think about that. It won't be a big problem for them, or like oh, I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, so let me see. I'll do this is, can you bring this, can you do that, please? And they will start to just like act as an entrepreneur or like a founder of a business or a startup, but in a very small scale. Once they adopt this mindset, they can go and do whatever they want to do in their lives, like a doctor, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, and so on and so on. So this is what we really after, or like we are all after at Flow, is to create the new mindset, entrepreneurial slash founder mindset, and bring that one mindset into our kids.
how does it look? Because I know that you are following, of course, the accreditation of the education system in the Czech Republic, but then how do you add that extra part? So it's something like, yeah, extra sessions, or it's just about how you, as you mentioned, how you deliver the content and the approach that is project based?
Of course, yeah.
Mm,
Mm, basically it's about how to deliver the content through those projects. So to explain this a little bit more, so you've got 10 months every
mhm,
school year, isn't it? So we have, for each month there is a project, there is a theme or
mhm,
a subject, and we usually call those subjects as like what was it? It's like relationship to something, like, so we have like relationship to the self. I love that project, by the way. It's the second or the third projects every year, and you spend 1 month with the kids talking about your relationship to yourself, all the emotions, all the feelings, all the needs, and so on and so on. So you educate kids how to understand themselves, and you give them a challenge. There is a challenge in the beginning. You explain that challenge. You create that emotional attachment with this challenge, with this topic, through some things, through some interesting, I don't know, like, yeah, usually it's through that challenge, and then you let them work themselves out towards the end of the month, where throughout this project they are learning about all these other subjects. So it's not like we are replacing the system, but it's just
mhm,
like creating a different approach towards the delivery. One example is there's a project called relationship to the environment, or like like me and the environment. It's called something like that. And I remember, like, the very first year of Flow, we created that subject, or like that project, and we grabbed the kids and we visited the zoo in Prague with our historically very first classroom, So we went there and we told them, okay, guys, so you can grab a small tiny animal, because elephant and giraffe, they are really expensive to adopt. So you grab something small, like we can somehow afford, and we will support this like small animal, with some cash. And they grabbed, oh my God, it was like something small. I even don't know how the name of the, like, surikata. I don't know, it's a Czech, like, it's just like a
yeah,
small thing that is always watching like this, and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, and they grabbed this poor small guy, and we were supporting this animal by, like, with our cash. Everything was done by the kids, and we told the kids, okay, so it's a relationship of you to the environment. You decided to help this animal. The costs are going to be around 5,000 per year. We need you, and that was like first graders. Okay, we need you to come in and to grab the money to make some miracle and bring in the money so we can go to the zoo and we can adopt it. So, through that, we clicked immediately emotionally with all the kids because they love that animal. And we started all the month, doing like readings about the animal, about this animal, doing the all mathematics around financials and so on and so on. So they've done it and they wanted to do it. They saw huge context and huge reason, a huge why we're doing what we're doing. We created at the end of the project, and we do this at the end of every project. Every month we do something, we call it demo day. It's something like a pitch day for parents. So if, imagine yourself, you're a dad, you will come, sit down, like grab a tea and watch your kid presenting what what they've been doing like throughout the month. So this is, I think, a change of how to deliver the content. But in the end of the day, the math is the math, the check is the check, and everything is the same. But we need to give them an emotional reason why to click in and just like go and study, instead of, yeah, because math is important. You have to learn it. So hopefully this is working. It's been working for 4 years. Kids love demo days. They love the projects they are working on. You would be very surprised, like how creative, and some of them like really, huge leagues within like 1-2 years in terms of their development. And it's just because you tell them you're enough, you're appreciated, just go and do it. And there is no bad answers, and so on and so on. So this is the difference, in the approach of how to deliver the content.
Thanks for sharing the example of this with the zoo. Um, I wonder as well from the other side of the coin related to teachers. So, yeah, how open are the teachers nowadays to approach this in this way? Or do you see the teachers coming out of the universities are into this direction of thinking, or what are your thoughts into that? Because how do you find this, let's say, special, let's call it a special people who can approach it in this way, or they are really open-minded, as you mentioned?
Okay, so there's one criteria
Mm,
which is very important to us, like when it comes to working with kids. It's like everyone who is joining Flow, they have to love kids. They have to have this approach to kids, not okay, I go to work because somebody is paying me my bills and that's it. So seriously, and this is my main condition. I need you to really, love working with kids and to be there for them. And we all know that some people are like driven towards kids, some are like no, just like, and so on. So this is one thing. The other thing is like it's Prague is crazy because it's there's so big, huge competition in terms of schools and so on. So there are no teachers almost. All like seriously, there's big lack of teachers, like qualified teachers in Prague specifically. So it's very hard to go and to convince anyone. I thought in the beginning that young teachers will be amazing for this kind of school, and like older who used to work in a certain like system or like design, they won't be able to change their minds or mindset. I think I'm not really correct in this after like 4 years. Like you can't tell, you never know. You have
yeah,
those amazing young teachers coming to you, but always no, I'll do it just like the way I know it from my university, and I'm not going to change, or like other challenges in between. So it's a mixture of all, like not all, but like more experienced teachers and young teachers. And yeah, everyone has to share this passion to work with kids and be there for them. And also they have to be qualified. And not only the teachers, but teachers is like one pillar of flow, sorry, because we have another like support team, within flow, like psychologists, specialized, like we call it like specialny pedagogue.
special educator or pedagogue. Yeah.
Exactly, something like that. Uh, we have like the whole management of flow, like which is behind the teachers, supporting everyone also. Oh my God, like speech therapist, someone who's special in like sports and physics and so on and so on, a specialist in that, and so on and so on. So it's not about the teachers themselves. However, it's really tough. It's really hard to find the right people to join you in general in any business, I would say, but specifically in education, in elementary schools in Prague, that's a big challenge.
Good. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, of course, if someone who is listening this have any solution about finding more teachers, that would be great for sure, I assume.
We do good
Or
coffee at Flow, so
good, good. Well, of course, there are too many topics I can go ahead with all of that you have mentioned. So I will try to also chat because before you also mentioned that you were trying to bring more founders or entrepreneur, let's call it entrepreneurial mindset to kids. Yeah, so I wonder what is your ideas of the future in terms of nowadays we have AI and there are a lot of changes happening in the, let's say, job market because of AI. So or yeah, or what we are a lot of the time, of course, taking decisions fear based and all the stuff happening in terms of this. So I wonder, and I'm trying to mix it as well, that I know that you have programs for parents, like you have some workshops or classes for parents as well into this mindset, I assume. So yeah, from your perspective, what are the skills we need as a human being to keep working and to keep, let's say, yeah, being part of this market and being part of the future of the world, even with AI maybe replacing some of our activities. So
Mhm.
what is your mindset and skills that you believe we need to develop? thanks to this school for primary schools, but also or kids, but also for us as adults. So what are your thoughts into this? It's a easy question, right, or not?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's so maybe I'll take one step back or like a couple
Yeah.
of steps back in this to so uh I would say flow is somehow a reflection of my experience, like as a kid or someone who I was born in the Middle East, like so and uh, I spent many years traveling with my parents, because both of them they work in diplomacy and so on. So like so we spent many years in many places, and what formed me quite a lot and made me maybe a little bit crazy so I will go and create a school or build a school is the my ability to adapt, so adaptability, I would say, is something that is really key for anyone to move on in our times and in the future. There is nothing certain, there is nothing, we really, like 100 years ago, if you will go to your bed, have a nap, wake up in 20 years, shit happened. Seriously, like in 30 years, like nothing would happen. Now, if you go to your bed, have a nap, wake up in like 2 years, you will maybe like the streets will be the same, but like everything around you like will be changed somehow. And this space is even getting faster and faster. So to train your mind to follow all those changes through adaptability. And it's easy said, be adaptive, come on, like Ricardo, you have to be adaptive, but like yeah, but there's many things in your head, in your mind, that needs a change in order to be adaptive, or like to bring in this adaptability fully into your mindset. So so this is the skill set I'm aiming to provide our kids with, so they can be like, go to the market with huge adaptability, with no fear of changing whatever is needed, so and they can switch. So this is one thing. The other thing that's really important is something we call it like meta learning. It has nothing to do with Meta and Facebook, but like you know, like meta learning, this the ability of learn how to learn nonstop all the time. So it's not like we can go narrow in one subject and like all the facts and so on, and spend years of that, just to know, like, to create like some specialty in any field. But it's almost very important now and into the future also to be able to learn again and again, start from the scratch, and be able to find, because we have all the resources. So far, I don't know, when I was doing my high school and university, we had, I don't know, what was that, like maybe Google, even like in the 90s, like in the early 2000, we had some access to information. So but the generation of now, they have access to knowledge, to information, and access to insights, and they can put everything together within a couple of minutes, which took us like months to do. So they have all of that. So they need just to be able to adapt, be quick in learning, and also the third thing, which is really very, very important, is to learn how to create solutions for any problem solvers. Problem solvers in terms of, and problem solving, again, it has many, many, many parameters, or like many, many aspects. It's like, what is it I'm doing, why I'm doing that, how to do it, whom do I need to have in the team, and so on and so on. So many things that if you are a startup guy, you will go and start asking yourself the same questions. So those three things, it's adaptability, meta learning, and creative problem solving, that is supported by some knowledge on how to really solve problems. um, this is something that we need to provide our kids with. Otherwise, um, I'm not like the pessimistic guy of like, oh my God, AI is going to steal all the business for like all our salaries and so on and so on. AI is going to replace lots of people, many people, really many people. But we still have to be there in the pilot seat somehow, and to make sure that we can use AI towards whatever we need. Maybe one last thing to answer your question. I had last just this weekend I have very nice discussion with a friend of mine about this exactly, like what is it like the future and why we need to do this and to do that. So I strongly believe that it all goes back to what we said in the beginning, is this entrepreneurial mindset, you know. So you are going to your work as an entrepreneur. You can work under some company. That's fine. That's fine, you know, because like there's always difference between an employee mindset and entrepreneurial mindset. They're huge different, you know, like huge differences. Sorry. And if you go to work in the future, probably your employee mindset won't be enough because you'll be replaced by AI. You have to bring in this entrepreneurial mindset, even if you're working under some brand or company, to be like an entrepreneur within your company. Why not? You know, so it's maybe a little bit like mindfuck now, but this is
Yeah.
it. This is the future. You know, this is the future. We need to create those entrepreneurs into the future who are going to go and co-op with AI and with other people to create something new. So maybe that answer.
Thanks for sharing your perspective. I wonder, like, I don't know if you have heard the terminology called portfolio life or
Not really.
not.
No, no.
Okay, okay. So, well, just to comment into it before we move, but it sounds like, from my perspective, what you are mentioning, I don't know, before we have the industrial age, there was all of these factories and there was this 9 to 5 mindset of employment, right? Before happening that, more or less everyone were freelancers, or like we call now freelancers, and there is this concept called portfolio life. That's how, for example, Da Vinci operated, or other
Okay.
philosophers or other artists and science before, right? So they were just one person, or of course maybe they have some team, or they were part of a company or whatever, but they were having this multifaceted life, right? Like in the morning, Da Vinci was maybe painting, in the afternoon, he was doing engineering, and in the night, he was painting again, or
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
reflecting, or I don't know, right? So there was this lifestyle that is quite different that we see to the majority of people nowadays. So
Mhm,
I wonder, like, if I don't know, of course, how we will take that decision. It's going to be natural evolution or how it's going to work. But I wonder if we will come back more into it. We still have this mindset with freelancers, but we see it more like, okay, you are a designer and you are just independent, and you design for whatever, right? Like in
mhm.
multiple companies. Although this portfolio life is more like, okay, I like dancing, I like, let's say, art, and then I can try to generate income streams in these multiple
Mhm.
aspects of my life, and that's what will generate my income, let's say, or my, yeah, the way
Yes.
I will live, right? So do you see something like this happening? Or I don't know if I'm putting you in the spot at the moment, right? But it's just an idea towards the toward this idea of how to life will happen later. It doesn't mean everyone will be like that, but I see that AI more or less will help that of course you remove a lot of manual activities, therefore you can actually dedicate to some more creative activities as well, right?
I think this is like 4 years ago when we started Flow. I had the pleasure to work with a creative agency here in Prague about like our branding, you know, and like what makes us different. And the guys from it's called VCCP, and lovely people working there. They created the concepts called, and I've never gone with it like publicly, and probably will do it maybe in the future, soon in the future. It's called Generation Slash. You know, like
Uh-huh.
just slash. And the main like, you know, concept there was like your kid can be anything they want to be, you know. And it's exactly, it's an artist in the morning, or like a writer in the morning, in the afternoon, or a gym coach, or like a fitness, I don't know, whatsoever. In the evening might be a dancer, or a data analyst, or something like this, you know. So the future, it's not defined by your job title, but by your main talent, you know. And what is your main talent? And if we will go into like the question around talent, we'll spend like hours in talking about that, but in a very easy way. What is talent? Talent is what you bring into the table in a very easy way. And it's like, oh, it was very easy for me. And everyone's like, fuck, like, dude, how did you do this? It's really no, no,
Yeah.
no, it's like what, like nothing for me. It was very easy. So each and everyone in the world, we have our own main talent. It's either goes to creativity, more creative, or into more like analytical mindset, or like and more into like doer, builder, and so on and so on. So this is also something that I'm looking at in Flow, like at our school, to understand what is the main talent of each and every kid, and to recommend them and to their parents like the future path of their development or growth. So I think what you're talking about is just like it's already happening, I would say. You've got many people, exactly, we call them freelancers. And the problem with it now is because the system is not set to satisfy the freelancers like very, ease. Like it's not easier than going, if you get yourself employed, that's fine. Everything's been taken care of and you just go to work nine to, 9 to 5 and go home. But I would say the future is going to be more about those Da Vinci's and other like multi talent, or like people with many passions. They can turn into cash. They can turn into like a living somehow. So I'd love to see this happening. Why not? Seriously.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Thanks for sharing your
And
thoughts
thank you
about
for
that.
the what was that, the portfolio?
Portfolio Life. There is actually a book about that as well. I think it's called
I'll look into that. Thanks.
I think it's called Portfolio Life. Let me check it out now. But the Portfolio Life
Yeah. Okay.
by Christina Wallace, I think
Mhm.
it's. Um, yeah. So now I will move to completely different topic, because if not, we will spend, of course, all the time into this topic, which of course is quite nice to chat. But yeah, I wonder as well, like, how does it work, your business model? And yeah, are you bringing external investors? Yeah, how does it work in terms of that?
Mhm.
Yeah, into your finance, and how do you keep this business sustainable?
Okay. Okay. So my recommendation, if anyone is looking like to open a school now, and like just really don't do it. It's really tough. But no, but a bit serious. Back. It depends on your accreditation and the way you are considering your school. So we're a private school, but accredited by the government, which means that we got some support, financial support, some financial aid and subsidies from the government. This is one revenue stream. We have our fees, like yearly fees for like to cover everything. So this is another stream. And also there are some special EU slash whatsoever, like we call it grants and stuff around that. But this is very like minor. The main revenue stream is created through subsidies and the fees from the parents, or like to cover the year. And we have some small fees around, I don't know, some afternoon clubs, other activities, and so on. So if you put all this together, you will have a certain number at the end of the year, which is, and now, like flows in the average of this price, like specter from cheap to really expensive schools. We're somewhere in the middle, maybe a little bit under the middle of those prices. Yeah, that's it. So you go and you have your P&L, classical one, as any other business. You look into overheads, into people, into rents, and so on and so on, and go into the incomes, do the math at the end of the year, and you will realize that, oh my god, we are in a huge minus. So let's do better next year. And yeah, and you do this every year.
Got it, got it. But you have currently private investors as well, or you are closing a deal at the moment, right?
Yes.
So can you tell
Yes.
us a bit about that, and how did you find these partners?
So this is basically what I shared with you is the business model. So
Yeah.
again, a couple of steps back, when I started Flow, I asked a couple of friends and family, FFF
Mhm.
round, typical, to go and to help me with this concept, with this idea to make it happen. Everyone loved it, and I'm really grateful for the investors and the people I have on board at Flow now, because without their support, nothing would be maybe like possible to run. So the first money came from investors, but also because the school is not, at least the way I'm doing it, it's not because of cash or business. I'm not building a business. I really want to build something that is bringing that impact to kids, but you need to keep your business there somewhere. So we are heading towards break even this year. It was supposed to be last year, but we are now in before like a huge change, which means that we are looking for and trying to close a new campus, a new building, to make it really big, large for future growth. So you need cash all the time. You need to bring in cash for the development and the growth of the school itself. During the summer, I've had the chance and the pleasure to work with a couple of amazing people. Now they are new investors in Flow. We signed everything. It's been almost 2 months now. Actually, tomorrow is going to be 2 months exactly from the signing. They are amazing because it's not money, it's really smart money. They have experience in running businesses. There is one lady who is really experienced in tech ed sector as well. So they are not giving only like cash, but also huge know-how in operations, in strategy, in financial topics, in development growth, and so on and so on. So yeah, another is definitely source of cash, of money to our school is the support from the investors.
Good. And yeah, you already touched about that. So, and you talk about the smart money. So, what does it mean, smart money, for you guys in Flow? So, it's about this knowledge about how to work with education, or is there something else that, yeah, that
It's
you
more,
bring?
it's more, I would say it's more about guidance and, like management and leadership. So, and also in finances or like financial topics. Um, uh, Sometimes in legal, sometimes in, now we're talking about, as I said, we are dealing with one landlord to create a new campus, which is going to be more than 1,600, maybe 1,700 in the future, more than 2,000 square meters, which is a huge, huge space. You have to get the right people to help you with that. So from the outside, every school looks like, yeah, you have teachers, kids, and, that's it. But from the inside, there's so many topics and everything is a hot potato. Everything it's just like urgent. You have to solve it now, here, immediately. So basically, with the new investors on board, I'm really glad because they help a lot, and they are still, like I'm talking to you and just reading like messages, on WhatsApp with the guys here about each and everything almost. So they are helping with really managing so many things in the school. Not teaching the kids literally, but also to help to, like, okay, what is our vision? What kind of people we want to hire? Where do we find them? Okay, sales, that's a huge thing, like sales, how to make sure that the school is full for next year. So what kind of activities do we need to do? Marketing, PR. I mentioned the building. I mentioned, like the internal work with the team as well. So it's a 360 approach, and I'm super glad to have them on board, to be honest. Like this is the type of investors every founder should have. It's like, okay, let me see, what do you need, guys? And they jump into it, and they are tough, slip you from the left to the right, like from the left to the right all the time, but fair, very fair, and the goal is unified. We all want to grow this school, which is great.
Good, good. Do you want to mention then who is the investor, or
Yeah.
is it more private?
Yeah, of course. Hopefully they won't be like, no, I mean, yes, of course. So it's a new fund called Neozone Collective, and it's Vanda Seidlova, Igor Strechko, and Tomasz Bezek. We had at TechCrunch a couple of weeks ago, like an article about their investment fund and the first investment that they done like with us, and they invested into Flow. As mentioned, Vanda, she is experienced in edtech as the previous founder, or like the founder, ex-founder, and CEO of Twixie, software for kindergartens, which probably is operating thousands of kindergartens all over the place here. Igor and Tomasz, they are very, very strong in finance, legal, business, and so on. So, but what makes them, all of them, like a fit to us, or like both sides, is our shared value system. We all want to do something that is in fact impactful, but also we want to do it like in a business way. Everyone, we would like to have a company with of a great value, so you can exit your company at some point, certain point in the future. So we are doing it for that reason as well. But the main reason is that, like, they liked what we are doing. They like the principles and the main concept of flow, the way I'm thinking about, kids development and so on in the future. And this makes us somehow, like a fit. And also they like to invest, as I understood them, into like traditional businesses with huge potential into the future, where you can apply any know-how, technologies included, to make it like profitable. Yeah, and they are tough, as I said, but fair and really helpful. So it's good to have them on board.
Good, good. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And yeah, the recommendation for anyone looking for investors so they could also
Definitely,
help
definitely,
into their
definitely.
journey. Now, I know that you mentioned also that, of course, have plenty of activities. Now, I will focus into the activity of, yeah, how do you guys bring parents to your schools and to convince them that you are the chosen ones for the educations of their kids? So, is there, because if I see it now, is I see that, of course, I assume the parents needs to have this mindset already, or maybe that's what you are doing with these after work activities, right? How do you educate people that these are important values for now and for the future? So how do you work into the marketing of the school, and yeah, and even to convince parents that maybe they are not watching this as an initial path, but then they notice, oh, they are right? So we
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
work
yeah,
with them.
yeah. That's a like simple yet quite difficult topic, honestly, because education is a very emotionally driven business, to be
Yeah.
honest, especially in the first elementary years, 1 to 5 or something like that, like lower elementary, which is 1 to 5. That's
Yes.
full of emotions. You have, like emotions everywhere. Parents, kids, teachers, everyone is like, and imagine yourself, you've got this, like your tiny, small kiddo who is turning 6 years old, going to their first life experience beyond being in the kindergarten playing and go to, like what, so it's like a milestone. So it's a very, very difficult topic, to be honest, like for parents to convince them to come, okay, now give us your kid, trust me, and everything is gonna be okay. So usually, let's say like 50-60% of recent current parents, they came to us thanks to like similar events like this one, like either a
Mm.
podcast where I'm talking about education, I'm talking about myself, my kids, the school, and how do we want to do it. The rest is like through recommendations, word of mouth, and so on. The best parents, or like the best fit school parents, is through recommendations, and also through that experience with us, like direct experience. So we have, every Thursday morning, we have like a breakfast or like a coffee with our headmaster, Tomasz, and myself included, every day available after 6 7 p.m, on like on for a call, or like a Google Meet or whatsoever, so I can talk to people about anything that they are asking about, like schools and education. We have afternoon activities where we invite parents of future schoolers, or like first graders, let's say, where we educate them about like how to work with your kid, what to do, and so on and so on. So also we do those like workshops for parents. Everything is on our website. We have open doors where you can come in, sit down, ask questions, experience the school from the inside. And also we provide free of charge trials. So if you have a kid and you don't know, so you can come in, give us your kid for like 2-3 hours, so they can be there. Or if you are want to transfer from different schools, so you can stay there up to 3 days to experience the school from in really to see if this is a fit or not. So many ways how to get that experience and to see if that's a fit or not. And actually, you would tell the difference once you come into our school, because our kids are, like, they're welcoming. They are not the kids who are like, I don't know what to say, like, I'm afraid of. No, they are like, hi, what's your name, what you're doing here, why you are here, I don't know you, and so on. And they start to really challenge you, so this is amazing. Actually, I remember this experience from my visit to one of the Swedish school back in 2015, I guess, was like something like that. And I exactly had this experience with small tiny kids, like challenging me with so many questions. And I was at that time, it's been 10 years now. I was like, oh my God, that would be amazing if I have something like that in Prague, or like we have something like that for my kids. Thanks God we're there. We're not yet there, but almost, in the way we're working with those kids. So you also can, as a parent, you can sit down and talk to our kids to see, like, the way they think, and whatever is happening, like, at the school at the meantime. So yeah, many ways, many options of how to get in touch with us.
Good, good. Yeah, thanks for sharing those ways. So, and hopefully some parents are listening to us so they can visit your website as well
Yeah,
and
of
check
course.
out some of those auctions. Now, I will make the last 2 or 3 questions if that's okay for you. So maybe I know that, of course, not everything in business is, let's say, easy, as you mentioned. And I think you have been clear about this from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like, yeah, what makes you, out of all of the activities that you are doing, like what makes you don't sleep during the night? If you need to select one of them, what is the most critical part that you consider that you are doing the best effort to keep it going, and that you consider the most important for your business and for, of course, for the education of the kids?
What makes me good to sleep, or what makes my sleep bad?
Yeah, what makes your sleep bad? Yeah, so what is something that you have always in your mind that you want to make
Yeah.
sure is working? Yeah.
Interesting. Like, as you probably know it, or every founder, every business owner we all know that your company, your business goes through different phases, right? Like, like the beginning, lack of cash, I don't know whatsoever. Lack of cash is always. So you have different phases, and every phase has its challenges. But in general, I would say what really makes me, like, I'm people person, like, I'm people, like kind of leader. I'm not about data. Like, I love data, but I'm not like a data analyst or crazy about data. I'm not a financial guy. I'm not, like, business driven, but with passion towards people. What always I think about is, like, are our people happy? Like, the teachers, the team, the management, the parents, the kids, everything is okay. Everything is like, everyone is happy. And what really makes me sad, and, like, mm, mm, keeps me thinking and overthinking sometimes, like, when I do a bad decision about something and it turns out that it wasn't the best decision and it has some consequences, that someone is not happy, or someone is leaving, or some parent is, like, upset with what we've done. Even whatever I'm doing is, like, in my best intention to help, the kids within the school. And this is something public. Everybody knows that. But yeah, once, I need to think less about, whatever whoever is thinking about, towards me, or and to try to be more, like, business driven. But I'm trying to make people happy at work, and deliver the promise that we gave to parents and to kids. And yeah, this is it. But otherwise, we have million other stuff, like zillion, maybe, like salaries and rent and this and electricity and what will happen there and that. So yeah,
Okay,
fun life.
understood. I wonder, it's something not related to this, but I think that I didn't have the chance to talk before, was like, how does it work in terms of in the usage of technology in the classroom? Because maybe this is something important for parents listening to us. in
Mm.
terms of how do you balance that between, of course, because nowadays we see even kids just walking on the street with their phones like this, and it's not really paying attention
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
environment. And of
yeah.
course, we are guilty of that, I assume, as well, that we are taking a lot of time in with our phones and devices. So, what is the mindset of your school in terms of that, into balancing the technology and yeah, experience life offline as well? So,
Yeah, of
what is your
course.
thoughts?
Of course. So, thanks for asking this. Actually, this takes me back to our main pillars. So Flow provides like ours, or like educational system is built on like main 3 or 4 pillars. One is like psychological safety of the kids, so they like feel within the environment and everything is like really feels good. So there is no blocker, emotional blocker, because we all know that anything you need to get into the kids' head has to go through their emotions. There is no other way around, you know. So this is one thing. The other one is like, project-based learning experience. And I explained why this is important: collaboration, cooperation, social skills, and so on and so on. Then we have, like English language and foreign language, which is really important for us. And the last thing is digital literacy and like skill set. We do programming from grade 1 with kids, but not because we want to create the next like generation of coders and programmers and so on. Not really, just to get them that skill set. And this is a good question, because if you look at our schedule, weekly schedule, it's like 5 days by 3 blocks, by like 90-minute blocks, right? So it's 15 blocks. Out of 15 blocks, we have only 2 blocks which goes into technology. One is like literally coding. The other one is more about theory and about like, like cybersecurity and so on and so on. So we educate them about, all the good and the bad about the internet and about the technologies. So out of 15 blocks, we have only two blocks, but within those 2 blocks, we do our best effort to literally learn them the best of the best, throughout the time that we're spending with them. So we're not replacing any. There is I don't say like, or like I wouldn't say like it's to balance something. There is no balance here. Like we limit the time of the screens as much as possible. And if we're doing something with screens, it's creating some content, creating some code, teaching something
Yeah.
meaningful. So they can understand that this tech is about creation, not only consumption. So this is it, which is really important. And yeah, and I think this makes us quite unique, quite different against other schools, because it is a corner part, or like a cornerstone of our curriculum, technology, but it's not crazy. So you go and spend all the time on screens. Not really.
Yeah, I think the differentiator, as you mentioned, is not only about the screen time, but of course, what is the screen time, right? So if it's only consumption, it's a different story, that scrolling around TikTok or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
instead of creating value to society in terms of, yeah,
Yeah,
learning to program or learning marketing, learning cybersecurity
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah, yeah.
it can be
Yeah, this
used
is
for.
this is our like approach to the like older kids. So we do lots of, I don't know, like Scratch Junior, for the tiny first, second graders. We go to like more like advanced languages and frameworks with them. But we also want to go into creativity. We want to build, and I would love, once moving to the new building, we'll have a studio, podcast studio, video studio. We'll teach them how to cut, edit, record, create some content, and so on and so on. Also go and create your own app, and really to put this in like a 360 approach, so they see that with this tech I can create. And ideally, my son, one of my sons is like, okay, I want to sell my own app or like game. I say, okay, be my guest. Like, tell me what do you need for that, and let's do it, and we can go and sell it and make some earning out of that. Why not? So really to show them that it is possible these days, and it's essential to learn tech towards creativity and creation rather than consumption.
Good, good. Yeah, so I promised last 2 questions, but I will make 2 more. Sorry for it. So yeah, I wonder, like, now towards the future. So if we, let's say, we meet in the next 2 years or something, what do you see? Where do you want to go from here? I know that, of course, you already mentioned your new headquarters. and success with that for sure. And yeah, how do you see the future of Flow from your perspective? And if we see it 2 years from now, where would you be standing in that case?
I'd love to have like like a full experience from from kindergarten or preschool, kindergarten up to like high school, so you've got a kid who's 2 years old, you bring it into like flow, and you grab it when he is or she is like 17 or 18 years old, and go throughout all this system, with us. So to provide this full experience from A to Z, probably not in 3 years, but in 3 years, I would say new campus, new building. The kindergarten is running and operating. We have full school for like elementary, which is like to nine, and starting to build the high school for our kids also. I'd love to, like, this is my clear vision and like my clear agenda for the next 2 3 years.
Good. Thanks for sharing that. Now, last question. So, if you have the chance to have a billboard that 8 billion people see and watch and reflect on, so what would you write into that billboard thanks to your experience? Not only maybe about the school, but in general of life.
Oh my God. I know that you asked me this question in the beginning, but like it's still tough, There was a quote from a French philosopher, I guess, and it goes in something like, if you look at life or like has three types of people, like the people who creates and changes things, the people who experience that change, and the people who had no clue what happened. So I always, ask anyone to whom I talk, like, do you want to be like that one who's like, what? I have no clue what happened, or do you want to be the creator, or just like the consumer somehow? So, uh, and I think we need to go more into this, like big balls, go change everything. Don't be afraid. Don't worry. We have all the resources, all the assets to do anything we would like to do, and everyone in the world is reachable within a couple of, I don't know, emails and messages, I would say, almost. So yeah, be bold and do good. That's what I would say.
Thanks for sharing that. Last point. So, if someone wants to reach you out, so how can they reach you out and get to know more about you and Flow?
Of course. So first of all, our website, which is scolaflow.cz,
Mhm,
scolaflow.cz.
mhm.
If you go to LinkedIn, search for Marv Shamma. Probably I'm the only Marv Shamma in this country. So you will find me there. Yeah, there is a couple of podcasts, other resources to watch and maybe to read about my approach, our approach. But mainly our website is the main source of knowledge about us, and my LinkedIn. More than happy to answer any questions if anyone has.
Thank you, Mar, for your time today and a pleasure to chat. And yeah, all that vision that you have comes to reality as soon as possible because the mission you are doing is quite important. And yeah, thanks for sharing everything.
Thank you for having me here, Ricardo. It was a pleasure, really.
Great, great. So see you around and all the success with your path.
Thank you. Come to our school. Thanks a lot.
For sure. Yeah, I need to. See you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.